I'm 55 years old. 55 years filled with life, experience, and what I thought was a solid marriage. But then, everything fell apart in an instant, like a house of cards, leaving behind only dust and a lot of bitterness. I found out that my wife, who's 52, had an affair with a younger guy. And it wasn't just a few months ago or even a year ago. It was several years ago. How could I have missed that? I thought we had a solid relationship after 25 years of marriage and raising our 3 daughters, 17, 20, and 23. I really believed we were in a good place. Or were we ever? That day kicked off just like any other. I was at my desk, deep in my work, when a message popped up on my phone. It wasn't from a client or one of my daughters, but from an unknown number. A mix of curiosity and annoyance nudged me to open it. It was from a woman whose fiancé had admitted to cheating on her with an older co-worker. My heart raced as I read the next line. He named his mistress. This stranger had done some digging and found me, believing I deserved to know the truth. Can you believe that? I can't tell if she was out for revenge against my wife, or if she really meant well. Honestly, it doesn't matter now. But the thought that some stranger's fiancé had ruined her life and was now messing with mine felt like a nasty virus in my head. At first, I couldn't wrap my head around it. My wife? No way, it had to be a mistake. But she kept insisting, sharing more details, dates, names of colleagues who were in the know. She even mentioned the hotel where they met. The worst part? She knew my home address because my wife had invited him over. She had my wife's phone number too. Everything pointed to a harsh reality. That young man had spilled it all. Eventually, I had to confront the truth. It felt like a gut punch that knocked the wind right out of me. He was 21 at the time, just a kid. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that she slept with a boy. It happened while I was on a business trip. How cliché. How utterly banal. When I pieced it all together, I realized my wife had most likely planned the whole thing. My trip had been scheduled months in advance. It wasn't a spontaneous decision. It's hard to believe she just happened to cheat precisely during that window of my absence. This wasn't a momentary lapse in judgment. It was something calculated, cold. For me, she no longer exists. An emptiness, a coldness has taken root inside me. I am ready for the divorce. Right now, I'm just preparing, getting my finances in order and so on. A close friend of mine who went through the same thing advised me not to confront my wife immediately. She warned me that if cornered, my wife might explode. I don't think she would. But then again, who knows? I thought I knew her. Turns out I didn't. The hardest part is seeing her every single day. She acts as if nothing has happened. She's planning our next vacation, talking about visiting our daughters. The eldest is working in another city, the middle one is in college, and the youngest is finishing high school. To me now, she's just a roommate. I feel nothing. I am a ghost haunting this house. I wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, then to work. I have my own business. I get back around 7 p.m. and keep to myself. She probably senses that something is wrong, but I'm past caring. Indifference has become the new stage of my grief. But the most devastating blow is the knowledge that my daughters knew about the affair. That thought has been eating away at me, poisoning every moment. The fiancé of the woman who contacted me, my unwitting informant, told her that one of my daughters had caught them kissing in our living room, in my living room, in our home. My wife thought our daughter would be at school all day. Apparently, she managed to calm her down and explain the situation away. I don't know exactly what was said, but my daughter never told me a thing, so I can only imagine what story my wife spun to secure her silence. And given how close my daughters are with each other, I am 100% certain she told her sisters, and the 3 of them made a collective decision to keep me in the dark. I think that's the root of this profound attachment I feel. I believe I was a good father to them. I've worked myself to the bone building my business so they could have the best of everything. I've always prioritized them in every business decision I've made to ensure they got an education without debt and had the best possible start in life. I tried to be present at every stage. In short, I did what any father should. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but nothing major. They are my babies. I always saw them as my little princesses, And to know that they were aware of it all, that hurts in a different way. It's a betrayal of another kind, and it's just as destructive. Part of me thinks they didn't tell me because they were afraid of breaking up the family. I get that. On some deep level, I understand. But despite that, the anger inside me keeps building and growing. We have a family WhatsApp chat, and when I see them asking for advice, for help with a rent advance or other things, I just want to scream and pour everything out on them. But I know it won't solve anything. It would give me 10 seconds of relief, and then it would all come crashing back, and it would hurt even more. Another part of me just wants to walk away, close the bank account, leave the house, sever all ties, and disappear without a word. My good friend talked me out of it, explaining that the law doesn't look kindly on that. But honestly, I find it harder and harder to dismiss the idea. I don't want to talk. I don't want to understand their point of view. I just want to go somewhere, like Thailand, to live on a beach for a couple of months. Maybe one day I'll be ready to hear them out, or maybe not. I don't want to hear their apologies, their regrets for not speaking up. They had 3 years of looking me in the eye and staying silent. I don't understand how they managed to act so normally, as if nothing had happened. I feel like all 4 of them are master manipulators, and the anger inside just won't subside. Reconciling with my wife is out of the question. She disgusts me, and the fact that she continues to act the part of the loving wife only adds fuel to the fire. It's a disgusting charade. I'm glad my friend helped me and shared her experience. It allowed me to see things from a different perspective. I really need advice about my daughters. As I said, part of me wants to talk to them. Another part feels they don't deserve a second chance because of the lies. It's too late. I'm just completely lost. Thank you for reading. It took me forever to write this post, but strangely, it's made me feel a little lighter. I've read all the comments and decided to add an update so you know where my head is at. First of all, a lawyer is already involved. Yes, the process has started. The lawyer said that since the children are adults, there will be no child support. As for spousal support, she can file for it, but since she has a job and earns a decent income, the court will likely dismiss her claim. We only have a joint account for common household expenses. Otherwise, we have separate accounts. This was very wise advice from my parents. If both work, you don't need to pool everything together. I am infinitely grateful to them for that. The lawyer said she might try to claim that since my business is successful, she has a right to a share if I decide to sell it. But again, since she works, we can fight it. To be honest, I'm almost past caring. I just want this to be over so I can start breathing again. I really need to chat with my daughters. It's important. Totally get it. I haven't done it yet because I'm still really mad. I'm worried that if one of them messes up, I might snap. I really think my wife somehow got them to keep this secret, and I'm worried that flipping out would just make it worse. I know my anger might not be fair, but honestly, when I discovered the affair, I was furious with my wife. That anger faded to indifference. I'm getting a divorce, and she's out. But with the kids, it's a totally different vibe. I can't hate them, you know? I still care, but right now it feels more like anger. I assume the youngest told the other 2 because they've always been incredibly close and supportive of each other. I've always been proud of that, so it's tough to think she wouldn't have shared it with anyone. But hey, who knows? I get it. I'm not blaming them. I totally understand if they just didn't want to break up the family, you know? It's tough to wrap my head around the whole deception. Honestly, it feels like they're choosing to side with their cheating mom, and that's just hard to digest, you know? It's like this fire inside me. I really need some time alone to sort through everything, something I haven't had in ages. A wife, 3 daughters, and a business. My gym time is my only escape. But honestly, that's not enough to shake off the anger. And with everything going on, it'd be weird to just say I'm off to Hawaii for a month. Thirdly, the paternity tests, STDs and all that, I need to get checked. That's a done deal. I've booked my clinic appointment and will get all the tests done. As for paternity tests, I don't know what the point would be. In the end, it doesn't matter if they aren't biologically mine. I've raised them for 20 years. They're my daughters, plain and simple. Blood ties aren't everything. If they don't have them, it's on their mom, not them. I can't hold that against them. Fourthly, maybe the woman who texted me was lying. That was my first thought. With 3 grown daughters, I thought we had a strong marriage. The first thing I wrote back to her was, "I'm sorry you're going through this, but I don't believe your story about my wife." She just kept spilling more details and showing me proof. Honestly, I don't care if she did it out of revenge or guilt. It's all the same to me. But the more she talked, the more doubt settled in my mind, and it hasn't left. I started my own investigation, and as you can imagine, it's much easier to find clues when you know what you're looking for. I'm not one to hide from reality. It's tough to swallow, but the truth is the truth. Turns out, that woman and my wife's lover were all set to tie the knot. I'm not sure what went down between them, but it seems he finally decided to be honest. What was on his mind? Who knows? Cutting all ties and moving on? That's a tough call, especially for parents. You can't just pack up and leave, right? I just need some time to think things over. Once I'm back on my feet, we can chat. Things will never be the same again. I love them, and they love me, but it just feels different now. I get super mad, but I know I can't just disappear. If the youngest kept this to herself, my disappearance could really crush her. Older sisters might start pointing fingers at her. That's my worst nightmare. I might sound crazy, but I have to be there for them. I need to keep them safe. I'm going to get my lawyer to hurry up the paperwork and officially serve my wife. On the same day, I'll schedule a Skype call with my daughters. They're spread out across various states. I want to do it that day so they can't chat with their mom first and give her a chance to play the victim. I want her to think I'm completely in the dark until I'm ready to confront her myself. It's Sunday, and I'm really hoping everything's set for next week so I can finally catch up with my girls. We'll see how it goes. As many of you advised, last week I invited my youngest daughter to lunch. My heart raced while I waited for her at the cafe. It felt like I was on shaky ground, you know? During lunch, I asked if there was anything she wanted to share with me. I don't know if it was my face or my tone, but she immediately knew what I was talking about. Tears filled her eyes as she opened up and shared everything. It turned out she really did see her mother kissing another man in our house several years ago. It felt like a mix of relief and sharp pain. Apparently, my now ex-wife kicked the man out and sat down to talk with our daughter. It was just a slip-up, a quick mistake, and she appreciated the interruption. She swore it was a one-time thing and begged her not to tell me because, knowing me, I would leave her and break up the family immediately. My daughter thought she could keep the secret because she trusted her mom. So innocent, right? But then she spilled it to her sisters. As you can imagine, they were shocked. The oldest sibling wasn't buying the whole one-kiss story. It felt way too convenient that the youngest walked in on their first time. She told them not to worry, and that she would deal with their mother herself. I can't help but feel proud of her for taking on that burden. The oldest sibling confronted their mom about the affair. "We'll spill the beans if you don't." Over the years, their mom always had a quick excuse to dodge the talk. Work, a sick relative, or something else. There was always a valid reason not to destroy the family right now. After lunch, I mentioned I'd reach out to her sisters, but she really wanted to join the chat. Working up the courage, I texted my 2 other daughters that we needed to talk urgently. We quickly set up a video call. Part of me thinks they already guessed what it was about. I told them their sister had told me what happened. They both broke down, crying, and saying they wanted to tell me. To keep it short, I told them I wasn't angry. I said I was sorry they had to carry such a heavy burden for so many years, and that I would always love them. I told them I was leaving because I just couldn't be with someone who'd betrayed me, but I added that I would talk to her first before making a final decision. It's the least I owe. I told my daughters to keep quiet about it because I wanted to chat with their mom myself that evening. That evening I got home. My wife was already there, chatting about her day, and her calmness felt almost overwhelming. I told her I'd had an interesting conversation with our daughter. She knew immediately what I was talking about. Her face twisted as she broke down in tears, saying it was just a kiss. She knew how much I valued trust and was scared of losing me over something so small. Seeing her cry, I thought it would shatter me. But Honestly, I felt nothing. My heart was just empty. I told her the divorce papers would arrive by courier tomorrow, and that was it. Then, I packed a bag and left. I didn't even know where I was going. I just couldn't stay in that house a moment longer. I booked a hotel room downtown and called my youngest daughter to let her know I wouldn't be home that night. She mentioned she was planning to stay at a friend's place to avoid her mom, but since I wasn't around, she asked if she could crash with me instead. Of course, I said yes. I texted my other two daughters to let them know their sister and I were at a hotel for the night. They asked if we could all talk. I agreed. During the call, I outlined the next steps as my lawyer had explained them. They're my daughters, and I love them so much. I couldn't help but add that it hurt me deeply that they hadn't told me. I really thought we had a solid connection and could share anything. They started crying and saying sorry, but I told them no matter what, they're my girls, and I love them. But I also said I would need time to get back to normal. I mentioned I was thinking about taking a long trip to clear my head. My eldest daughter said if that's what I needed, then I should definitely go for it. After that, we all just settled in for the night. The next morning, while having breakfast with my youngest, her mother called. I had no desire to answer, but my daughter insisted I pick up. I agreed and put the phone on speaker. The moment I answered, it was clear she had been drinking all night. She broke down in tears, saying she loved me, that we were meant to be, and that this would ruin the kids. Her voice was thick with despair and alcohol. I told her the children are adults. They don't need us anymore. We've done everything we can for them. Now it's their turn to build their own lives. And then she turned monstrous. She threatened to take everything from me, ruin my business, and tell my daughters I used to hit her. I was completely blown away. I glanced at my daughter, and she looked just as shocked as I felt. This wasn't the person I once knew. I ended the call and said my lawyer would be in touch. My daughter and I were totally shocked, like the person we'd known for 20 years had just turned into a stranger. 5 minutes later, my daughter got a text from her mother saying they needed to talk. She was scared. I told her not to answer. Her mom was definitely drunk, and that chat wouldn't end well. I said I would stay at the hotel until things were settled, and that she was welcome to stay with me if she wanted. Had another group call with my daughters, and I filled them in on what happened. They were totally horrified. I met with my lawyer and told him everything. He said I had nothing to worry about. Their mother has a good job and is financially stable. I have a business that employs 5-10 people, and no judge would jeopardize that given her standard of living. She will get half of our shared assets, the house, cars, etc. She can't touch my savings or claim any part of the company. Honestly, that was a huge relief. My daughter's scared to go back home to her mom. She's scared her mother will blame her for everything. I told her I'd get a place in the city center, and she can stay with me until she's ready to go back or heads off to college. It seems that her mother's deranged phone call really shook her. I told her I can help her find a therapist if she wants. Let's see if she'll take me up on that. My wife received the papers and apparently created a scene, both with her family and mine. Her family tried to reach us, but my oldest daughter just ignored them. On my side, my brother has been nothing but supportive. He gets I wouldn't do this unless I really had to. The divorce process has officially started. My daughter's crashing here until she feels ready to head home, or maybe she'll just stick around for good. My wife is bombarding me with messages. I might consider meeting her, but my lawyer strongly advises against it. He told me there's nothing to gain and a lot to lose. You know what? I think I'll take his advice. I won't be going to Thailand until I'm sure my youngest is okay. So if I do go, it probably won't be until next year, after she graduates. I don't know what our daily life will look like now. We'll see. I probably won't share another update unless something major pops up.